So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I got over 12,000 leads with AI. And it's the exact same method that I used to generate over $54,000 last month. And it's the same method that our partners use. So me and my partners have never had to send cold DMs, do cold email, do cold calls. We've never had to do any of that. And I hope you don't have to either. So what I've done is I've broken this video down into 4 main step-by-step parts that you can follow. So you can use AI to set up a cracked offer that calls out your direct customer profile so that your leads are actually qualified. So number 2, how to use AI to set up all of the ad copy for your ad setup. So with number 3, you'll be able to copy all of my prompts that I use to generate all of the ad creatives that specifically are catered towards your ICP. And lastly, for number 4, I'm going to give you guys a live demonstration on me setting it up on the Meta Ads Manager with all the buttons that I pressed, why I'm pressing them, what they do. So you'll have full clarity on the entire process from A to Z. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So here's all the proof, right? How I got the 12,000 leads with AI, right? We had over 200 book calls. We had like a $4 cost per lead with the amount spent. And then here's the ROAS in case you guys even care. So how? Now I'm going to be covering exactly how you want to run the Facebook ads. And if you guys have run Facebook ads before, I want you guys to erase all of the knowledge that you guys have had in the past. Because ever since October's Andromeda Facebook update came out, the way that you want to run the ads are completely different from how you used to run them before. So I'll be running through all of the settings that you guys need to know on step 4. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. Step 1, we want to create an offer and we'll be using ChatGPT to make the offer. And it's as simple as putting a prompt like this. Create an irresistible offer for my meta ad. My target audience is online coaches and consultants, and my service is helping them get more clients through lead generation, appointment setting, and helping them with placing setters and closers. And then this is exactly what ChatGPT just pops us. So this is the headline that it generated us. It has 10 clients guarantee and a risk reversal, or you don't have to pay a dime. This is the exact offer that we use for our creative. And for the body, this is what the ad copy is going to be. Right? Tired of empty promises and leads that don't convert. We're so confident in our system that we guarantee you 10 paying clients or you don't have to pay us. So here's what we bring to the table. Essentially, why this offer is so good is because it guarantees us 10 clients. And this is what the client needs, not what they want. So I'm going to explain why this guarantee is so good and why it completes a gap. So I like using this analogy called the airplane analogy. And basically, let's say you're going on a flight from Florida to Hawaii. You don't really care about which seat you sit in, which snacks they give you, whether it's at the front of the plane or the back of the plane. The only thing that matters to you is if you're going to get to your end destination, which is Hawaii. Right? So a lot of offers, what they'll do is, let's say they guarantee you a certain amount of leads, it being 100 in this case, it'll maybe help you go from Florida all the way to Louisiana, right? It's going to help create a small gap, but that's still not getting them to the client. They still have to set the appointment. They still have to close them. They still have to onboard them, all of that. So it doesn't complete the gap. Let's say people start adding on, right? Maybe 30 appointments in 90 days. Maybe instead of going to Florida, they're going to go all the way to Texas, but it still doesn't complete that gap. Maybe people start adding on more and more, right? It's like 90 appointments in 90 days or 90 shown appointments in 90 days, or you don't have to pay. They're going to keep adding on to that, but it's what your client thinks that they want. It's not what they actually want. They just want the clients. They want the end result. They don't really care about anything in between that. So what that means is you're not helping them go from Florida to Louisiana, to Texas, to New Mexico, to Los Angeles, which are basically these, this being Louisiana, this being Texas, this being New Mexico, right? This being California. These, they don't matter. They only care about getting to Hawaii, which is the end result. So that is what you want your offer to do. And when you go to ChatGPT, make sure that the offer that you're providing for whatever service or niche that you're in, it's specifically the end result rather than something that's only going to take them to Texas, for example. So now that we know what a good offer is, we know that it completes a gap. So what a unique mechanism is, basically what your service or offer or structure or whatever system that you're helping them implement is specifically called. So for example, we use Business Trinity Toolkit. Maybe if you're a fitness trainer, you can say a Southeast Asian workout program. So basically you just want to have a good presentation with it. An irresistible offer just means that it has to be something tangible, right? It completes the gap. So these two go hand in hand as well. And then finally, you have the risk reversal, which is sign up today. And if we don't deliver you those 10 clients, you don't owe us a penny. no hidden fees, no long-term contracts. So with ChatGPT, just ask it to make you a prompt like this, and then it's going to spit you out a good offer. And make sure that it's good. That's why I explained what a good offer even is. So go to ChatGPT, ask for the different risk reversals, exactly what your service is, and put it into this prompt, and it's going to spit you out a good offer. However, just in case, that is exactly why I showed you guys what a good offer even is. So for step 2, right, create the copy. It's exactly what I just went over earlier. It's the body, like this specific part. Tired of empty promises and leads that don't convert, right? We're so confident in our system that we're going to guarantee you 10 paying clients you don't pay us. Just add that into the description part. Don't worry about the header. Don't worry about the body. So for step 2, creating the copy, right? The place that says the body, that is exactly where you're going to be putting this specific part into your body for the ad creative. You're going to have the headline, the sub headline already. As long as you give the green light that it is a good offer, you can put it into there. The body is going to match the headline and the sub headline. Once you make sure that the good copy is good, we can go over to step number 3, which is generating the creatives. So we're going to use ChatGPT again. And what you want to do is you want to test out 40 to 50 different creatives. You want to make all of them unique, which is really, really important. So this is the ad creative that I used. Make a 1080 by 1080 ad creative using my offer of, say, whatever industry that you're in, whatever your offer was. Maybe it's 15 full paying clients, or maybe I'll generate you 10 clients guaranteed. So just use the offer that you made for a trading coaching offer or whatever your service is, and then ask it to call out the specific ICP. For example, let's say you're targeting agencies and coaches, or maybe Christian agency and coaches, which is what we targeted. So with whatever offer that you're running, you want to make sure that you call out your ICP. So just as an example here, you can see I called out new traders, and then ask it to add a learn more box at the bottom and make it very industry or service theme, right? But make it simple. So what you want to do, now that you have this, ask to make another version of this. Just make it completely unique. Ask it to make it different. If it pops out another ad creative that looks exactly the same, what you want to do is just ask it in another chat and just paste that same prompt in. Or what you can do is go into the new chat, and then instead of pasting the new prompt in, ask it to make it different themed, right? Instead of making it like tradey themed, try to make it computer themed or very retro themed, for example, right? Just make every single ad creative different, so that way you can test out different themes that work well, different call outs that work well. So in order to understand why we want to do 40 to 50 different creatives instead of just making like 5 to 10 like what we did in the past, is by understanding how the old algorithm worked and how the new algorithm works. So before Andromeda was released, what it would do is you would want to have broad targeting Advantage Plus off, right? The old Advantage Plus could not target well. So basically you got better results when you had more control, and it judged based off the people who fill out the form, and it just finds out more of them. So what it would do is with your ad creative, it would send it out to a random pocket. Like what you see here, it would send it out to a random pocket, say it's 10 million people. And then what you'll do is you'll get $10 cost per lead there, right? It's going to target all of the people in that 10 million. For the people who do fill out the form, they're like, hey, let me find more of those people. And then they're going to just send it out to more of those people, whether it's right or wrong. So what we did back then is when it would give us a high cost per lead and we knew that the ad creative was good, we would just duplicate the ad campaign and just let it find a different pocket. So with the losing ad creative, what we would do is we would just duplicate it and then let it run again. And we would just do the same thing until it actually became a winning ad creative, because all it did was it found the right pocket, right? It found the right pocket of people, and then it just became a magically lower cost per lead. And that was how the old algorithm worked. So now how the new algorithm works, it works best when you have broad targeting on and you also have Advantage Plus on. So the reason why you want Advantage Plus on is because with the old update, Meta was basically training the algorithm to understand finding the best people possible. Think of the algorithm as like a little terrarium that it has, but Meta doesn't really understand how that, algorithm works. It's just inside this little bubble, inside this algorithm. And basically it just trained itself until it could really just find those people by looking at the ad creatives and then finding the right people immediately. So that is what the Andromeda update is. It's just a little terrarium. They know that the algorithm can find the right people as long as you have a good call out and you have a good ad creative. It would just find the right leads instantly because it would just go to the right pockets rather than it have to go into a random pocket and hope and pray that there are the ICPs in there. So basically Meta's just going to find the right pocket based on your creative, and it's going to find the right person off the bat, right? It's going to go through all of these different pockets and it's going to be like, hey, this pocket has a bunch of people that are most likely to click, and it's just going to choose that pocket. Maybe it's going to be a pocket of a lot less people, right? It's not going to be 10 million people, but it's going to be 2 million people, and you're just going to get a lot lower cost per lead just off the rip. If that doesn't work, right, all you really want to do is just let it find another pocket. Just dupe the ad campaign and just redo it again. Or maybe look at your ad creative and say, hey, am I testing this properly? Do all of my creatives really look the same? If they do look the same, generate more creatives that look unique and different. That way you can test out different angles and different callouts for your ICP. So with the ad creative, like I said, it needs to have a good ICP. So you need to be calling out your ICP properly. Number two, it needs to have a good offer. And then it also needs to be some sort of service themed. Thirdly, you want to make sure that the theme is related to whatever your service is or whatever your industry is. So for example, if you're targeting traders, try to make it more tech themed, try to make it more trader themed. That way people can look at the ad creative and be like, hey, this is for trading. So now for step 4, I'm going to be going over a live demonstration of how to set everything up step by step, what the buttons do while we're pressing it. That way you guys have a full understanding of how it works from A to Z. But before, I want to preface just by telling you a few important things that you guys need to know. So one of the important things that I want to mention is we're not going to be adding any filtering or qualifying questions to begin with, because it might choke our lead flow out at the start. So we want to let the setter qualify, or maybe if it's a direct booking, kind of let them qualify themselves on there. So we want the lead form specifically to be as frictionless as possible. So the setter is going to be taking note of the people that come in, and then that is when you might add in a qualifying question. So for example, let's say you're targeting trainers or traders, right? You're targeting traders, for example, and even though you have a good ad creative, you have a good offer, you're targeting the ICP properly, but you're still getting leads in that are people who are like, oh, I don't even know what trading is. That is when you're going to add a question into the lead form where it's asking like, hey, are you a trader, or are you looking into becoming a trader, or are you stock option trader, for example? That is the only time when you're going to be starting to add qualifying questions. So instead of trying to get one perfect client from the ads, the goal is to get 100 people come in, convert those 100 people into 10 appointments from that through the setter or direct bookings, and close at least 2 out of those 10, right? So it's really just a big funnel that you guys are having. It's just a big numbers game. So the setter and human, you are the filter in and of itself. So like, you don't want to be choking out the lead flow with all of these filters, which are the questions that you're adding onto the lead form. You don't want to do that. The only filter that you have is one filter at the end of the river of leads, and that is your setter or some sort of human. That could be you, that could be an employment setter that you hire out, or maybe a closer. So now I'm in the Meta Ads Manager. I'm going to be running through exactly what buttons you guys want to press. I'm just going to go through exactly how the form is going to be set up and all the campaign ad set settings, ad settings. That way you guys are 100% on the process. So basically we're just going to come here, click create ad. Once you do that, you want to make sure that it is set as auction. You want to click the leads. It's going to be lead campaign. You don't want to click any of the other campaigns because they're not relevant to you. Now press continue, and it's going to lead you to this page, right? We can name the campaign whatever we want to name. I'm just going to name it, for example, new example ad campaign. Just something simple, right? Like I said, the buying type is auction. The campaign objection is leads. No campaign spending limit here. So secondly, for the budget, we want to keep it at the campaign budget. We can set the daily budget to whatever we want. We don't have to do any budget scheduling, no campaign bid strategy. Turn off A/B testing, and then we don't have to worry about the special ad categories at all. So now for the ad set, right? For the conversions, we want to make sure that it is set on instant forms. We don't want to send them over to a website. We don't want to send them over to Messenger, Instagram. We don't want to be calling them. It wants to be specifically instant forms. The reason why is because all the other options create friction. We don't want friction when we're getting leads, because the goal is to get 100 people from those leads and then see if we can turn those 100 people into 10 appointments. So we're going to have instant forms. We want to choose our Facebook page. For example, it's just going to be Liftoff Launch here. That's one of our clients. So for performance, we want to maximize the number of leads. For cost per result goal, we don't have to worry about that. Value rules as well, don't have to worry about that. This is very important. Dynamic creative, make sure we turn this on, because with the new Facebook algorithm, we'll be able to take advantage of Andromeda even better with dynamic creative on. So for budget and schedule, we don't have to really worry about this, right? It's just really about like start date. So now for the audience settings, you don't really have to worry about using a saved audience unless you are doing a retargeting campaign, which you already have a saved audience from a previous campaign that you were running, and you want to target all of those people who maybe clicked on your ad before and you want to just run it towards them, right? That's what a saved audience is for. For the controls, we don't have to worry about this. For the locations, if you're in the United States, you can also target Canada. However, I wouldn't recommend targeting the UK or Australia, for example, because calling them is going to be a hassle. If you're in the UK, target the UK. If you're in Australia, target Australia, of course. So showing more controls. So now for the minimum age, we can keep it at 18. So exclude these custom audiences, none, languages, all languages. When you're suggesting an audience, you guys want to keep it at specifically 18 through 65 and all genders. So for detailed targeting, this is if you're going to do an interest stack. Let's say you're targeting agency owners or maybe fitness people, maybe people who want to go through weight loss. This is where you're going to be able to add specific descriptions like who they are. For example, they're homeowners, for example, they're traders, someone who is a chief marketing officer, someone who is a fitness coach, for example. But when we're running a broad campaign, we do not want to worry about the detailed targeting at all. So with ad transparency, don't worry about this. Yeah, so for the placements, just make sure that everything is on. You guys don't have to worry about this. Just keep whatever Advantage Plus has, just keep it there. And finally, for the ad level, make sure you guys have partnership ad off. So with whatever your Facebook page is, just select that. Whatever your Instagram account is, select that as well. Make sure you have multi-advertiser ads on. For lead nurturing, don't select any of these. You guys are fine. Just make sure it's at instant form. So with your ad creative, this is exactly where you're going to be able to add the different images. So for every ad, you're going to be able to have at least 10 different images inside one single ad. And that's the structure that we're going to be using. And this is why I asked you guys to turn on dynamic creative, because when you click select images, you guys are going to be able to select 10 different images and place them into one singular ad. Click optimize ad for each person. So primary text, headline, description, you guys don't have to worry about that. I covered that earlier where we let ChatGPT just take care of that for us, right? Because creatives are the main thing that do the heavy lifting. You guys don't have to worry about display link. Don't put anything inside there. So for your call to action, make sure that you're putting learn more instead of any of the other options. Just make sure it is learn more. So all of the other settings in here are practically irrelevant. You guys don't really need any CRM events, any tracking, right? You guys don't have to worry about a metapixel or anything here. So finally, for the last step, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you're going to set up the Facebook form. So just going to click duplicate. That way you guys can see what we had. So at the top, whatever the name is, right? We want to make sure that we're clicking more volume for our form type. Form type, more volume. Flexible form delivery, we want to turn that off. We don't want it to adjust or remove different elements from what people are most likely to respond to. So more volume and flexible form delivery. For the intro, what we can do is we can have a background image, right? This is just an example of the offer being the banner of the background image. So that's what the background image is going to be. Make sure you guys have a greeting, right? For the headline, just say, hey there. And then this is really important. People are antisocial as hell. You know, people don't like being called. So what we'll do is we're going to ask them to fill in their info down below and we'll text you how this works. We're not going to say we're going to call you or we're just going to leave it off there because they're going to be like, oh, you know, I'm going to keep getting contacted and I'm going to be put on a list or something. We want to make sure that it says we'll text you how this works. So this is exactly what we use. So now for the questions, you guys don't really have to worry about questions. All we want to do is we have the full name, email, and phone number. So if we are going to add a question, we can add a multiple choice question here. And then for question one, just make sure that it is the ICP. Are you ICP? And then it's going to be yes or no. That's literally it. If you guys are dealing with a ton of broke people, I wouldn't recommend you guys do this. So if you guys don't understand here, there's this little button that says conditional logic. What that does is, say, for example, you're asking them how much money they have to invest into your program or your coaching offer. So let's say your question says like, hey, do you have under $500 or do you have above over $500 to invest? If they have over $500, they'll be led to the next question. You know, they'll be able to continue on with the form. If it says lower than 500, another separate question is going to pop up, which is like, hey, what's your credit score? And if their credit score is above, for example, 600, then they're going to be able to be financed and, you know, they're qualified. They have the financial qualifications to even be a customer in the first place. So they're going to let them through. If it's anything under 600, that's when the lead is just going to be completely gone. You're going to close the form. You don't have to worry about that lead anymore. It's just someone that's not qualified to even be a customer in the first place. So that's what conditional logic is going to help you do. But other than that, you guys don't have to worry about that. No questions just yet. Just make sure you get their full name, email, and phone number. For the description, it says get in touch, right? However, what you can do, just copy and paste the same description that we had before, fill in your info down below, and we'll text you how this works. What we're going to do is we're going to just paste that into the description. So when they see, hey, fill in your info down below, and we'll text you how this works. So we're just going to paste that into there, and we can just put a little emoji of like someone pointing down. So once we have that, we're going to go to the privacy policy. So you guys don't really have to worry about the privacy policy. It is optional. But if you guys do need a privacy policy, all you really need to go to is termsfeed.com. And then what it's going to do is it's going to generate you a privacy policy for you. And then you can kind of just paste it in there. So finally, for the ending of the lead form, now they've already submitted their form, hey, thanks, you're all set. This is what we want as the headline. And then for the description, what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of those leads have the highest converting rate into a direct booking rate. So for the headline, all we want to put is thanks, you're all set. And what we want to do with our description is we want to incentivize these people or all of these leads to book in a direct call. So how we want to do that is in the description, we put, due to high demand, our spots are very limited. Book now. And then our button literally just says book now, right? And then what you're going to do here is you're going to paste a link of your calendar. Whatever your calendar is where they can directly book, that is where you're going to put your calendar link. And then the additional action is going to be go to website. So that way you can put the link in and then put in the call to action. So it says connect with leads in Messenger. You guys don't have to worry about that. Don't talk to them in Messenger. Just give them a phone call once they input the form or they do a direct booking in. And then we click create form. So hope you guys enjoyed. Those are all the 4 steps that I used to make sure that we got over 12,000 leads, make sure all of our cost per lead is as good as possible. It's under $5. It's the same thing that our clients use as well. If that helped, make sure to give a like, hit the subscribe button. If you guys have any questions, you guys can send over a question over on my Instagram, which I'll link in the description. And if you guys have any questions, say, oh, once we have these leads, how do we actually convert them into appointments? What I'll do is I'll link a video to doing exactly that on the left here, and I'll see you guys next time.